Dragonites. How is everybody doing? I hope your week is off to a wonderful start. Or I'm glad it's half over if it's not going so well. Just, cover all the bases. Okay. Today we have our very first WIP and Chat of the Luna and Lycans event of November 2025. So that's just all to verify you're in the right place. And, we're going to talk about some cool stuff to do with the moon. We're going to talk about some cool stuff to do with some wolves. And, we're just going to hang out and chat. And if we have time, we'll get to, life stuff. And if not, perfectly fine. So, that all being said, I am working on my canvas for the Luna and Lycans event. So I'm doing Moonlight, which is a DAC canvas by Chris Ortega. It's very, very pretty. I've been enjoying getting to know this canvas. I really have. I started at the bottom. So right now I have predominantly 5 colors. So I'm on the second row. So yeah, we're just going to mosey along and see how we do. Yeah, I was trying to decide really, which to discuss. I thought, well, do I want to talk about, the moon, and then next week talk about the wolves and then switch them off, or do I want to talk about a little about both of them? I know it's hard to decide, but I think what I'm going to do is just try to give a little bit of info on both items, both the moon and the wolves, whichever wolves we're talking about. Today we're going to talk a little bit about wolves in general, and then we're going to be specific and talk about gray wolves. So that is what we're going to be doing today. In terms of housekeeping, not really that much this time around. I hope everybody's got their canvases going and you're enjoying them. Progress pics will be due around the 15th of the month. Receiving those progress pics will also confirm that you will be in the drawing for the goodies. So, yeah, that's all you have to do to be eligible to win. Anything else I have to talk to you about in terms of housekeeping? I don't think so, you guys. You guys are usually pretty well on the money, so I don't really need to do that too much. Those were some elections last night, weren't they? I'm telling you. Yeah, it was kind of awesome. So, yeah, anyway, that's all I'll say about that, because, we have all kinds of different people with different points of view in our community. So that's why I try to go out of my way not to make it political unless, something really significant is going on. And so there are different levels of significant, but, that kind of thing. But otherwise, I'm just going to say I personally was really pleased to see what appears to be a referendum on, policies that are unacceptable to most Americans in one way or another. And that's Americans of both parties, because yeah, there are lots of people that are going, you know what? This has become not okay. So glad they found that out. Welcome aboard. So yeah, it was a pretty good night, all things considered. So hoping that a lot of the cruelty and sadistic behavior is going to come to an end so that we don't have to continue to try to figure out what we're going to have to do about all of that. Because, guys, the holidays are here. I mean, can you believe it? Holidays are here. So we got to start thinking about enjoying life a little bit. So, yeah, that's what's happening around here. I think that's everything. So we'll just get started right away on our info about the moon, and then we will move on to some info that you might not know regarding wolves. I have a special place in my heart for wolves because I told you I was Native American, and my maiden name happens to be Wolf with an E on the end. So For a very long time, that was part of my name every day. So, yes, I do have an affinity for them. So, okay, everybody, let's get started. Let's talk a little bit about the key characteristics of the moon. Some of this stuff's kind of interesting, and I thought, wow, I have to tell the Dragonites about this. I don't know who knows and who doesn't, so we're going to catch everybody up, so everybody will know. By the time this video is over, you're going to go, wow, that was like going to school. My head hurts. Yeah, because we're going to talk about some cool stuff, and you're just going to learn by osmosis. So there you go. If you haven't already grabbed a snack and something to drink, well, by all means, go and do that because, you know, got to hydrate. So, all right, let's get on with it. Oh, one last thing. I do have one last thing to tell you, housekeeping wise. So there will be a spot in the Diamond Painting with Friends 2.0 Facebook group each week. My goal is to have a spot each week that you can post under in the comments section for your weekly progress. So I have submitted for approval of the admins the posting for your week 1 progress. So hopefully by the time you're watching this, it will be up and available for you to post under there. And then, yeah, it'll be all good. So that's my goal, is each week just look for the one that says, you know, week 1 progress, week 2 progress, week 3 progress, etc., so that you'll know where to put your progress pics. Don't forget the hashtag is Luna and Lycans DP, so that we can get them all in one place and it'll be easy, you know, to see what's there, what's not there, etc. So yeah, be sure to do that. It'll be in the basement down there in the description box. So you'll be able to find, you know, the link to get into the Facebook group if you have not done so before. All right, moving on to the Luna part of Luna and Lycans. Let's talk about the moon. Key characteristics. The moon is Earth's only permanent natural satellite and the 5th largest in the solar system. So how about that? Something you don't see every day, right? Okay. It does not produce its own light. Did you know that the moon does not produce its own light? Sure looks like it from here, though, doesn't it? We see it because its surface reflects sunlight. So how about that? That's why it looks like it's lit to us, because it reflects the sunlight, which is, you know, across from it when our evening comes up. So, yeah, kind of neat, huh? Nature gives us a nightlight. I think that's kind of cool. Okay. Scientists believe the moon formed approximately 4.5 billion years ago from the debris of a giant impact between the early Earth and a Mars-sized object named Theia, Theia. The surface is made of solid igneous rock and includes mountains, valleys, craters, and plains called seas, S-E-A-S, seas. Synchronous rotation. The moon rotates on its axis at the same rate it orbits Earth, which is why the same side is always visible from our planet. So that's kind of interesting. When it rotates, it doesn't spin all the way around. It stays the same side, it stays toward us. So we always get that same, we're always looking at the same side. The moon is moving away from Earth at a rate of about 3.8 centimeters per year. So how about that? It's getting further away. It's interesting, isn't it? Wonder how long. One of you math people, somebody who does really well in calculus and trigonometry and all of that, maybe you can tell us in the comments, how long is it going to take before we can't see it, do you think? At 3.8 centimeters a year. I mean, what the heck? Let's hey, if you can go big or go home, right? So let's go ahead and see if somebody can figure it out. Let me know if anybody can come up with the answer. its orbit is not a perfect circle, so its distance from Earth varies a little bit because it's not a perfect situation. The moon has a very thin, unbreathable atmosphere called an exosphere, so astronauts need spacesuits to survive. So yes, it's not a hospitable area. So yeah, I don't think we need to think about colonizing the moon because a little tiny leak in your spacesuit, that's the end of that. So yeah, we'll just hang out down here on Earth. Thank you very much. The surface temperature fluctuates drastically from about minus 173 degrees to 127 degrees. Now, I don't know if that's Celsius or if that's Fahrenheit, but suffice it to say that's quite a difference between the two temperatures. The moon is seismically active and experiences moonquakes. How about that? Those of us that live in earthquake country, yeah, we get that. We understand what that means. But who knew? Moon had moonquakes, just like the Earth has earthquakes. It's kind of interesting. So there you go. All right. Here we go, water and composition. Okay. Water ice. There is water ice on the moon, especially in permanently shadowed craters. So it does make some water ice. That's interesting. It is made up of elements like oxygen, silicon, iron, magnesium, calcium, and aluminum. So who knew all those minerals were out there and metals were out there just hanging out on the moon going, oh, this is fun. Okay. Scientists have successfully grown plants in soil samples brought back from Apollo missions. How about that? You can use it and come up with, a way to harvest space soil. So, well, there you go. So we have an extra source of dirt, everybody, should we need it. I don't know if that's good or bad, but okay, we'll take it. Okay. 12 people have walked on the moon, with the first being Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin on July 20th, 1969. So, yep, that was the first time anybody walked on the moon. Do you guys remember what he said when he first went out onto the moon surface in his spacesuit? One small step for man, one giant step for mankind. And boy, was he not kidding. Who knows what the next one will be, or where we might go. I suspect space travel is going to be the next thing. Intergalactic travel, probably. I mean, Star Trek come to life, right? Something of that nature. I don't think we're too far from that, guys. I really don't. I don't want to be on the first the first trek on that, however, because I watched, I was in high school when the space shuttle Challenger blew up. Yeah, I'm just going to wait on that whole being in a spaceship thing. But gosh, go right ahead, guys. Make intergalactic travel a thing. Okay. Man-made objects. The lunar surface is littered with man-made objects from missions. Do you love that? Can't we even pick up our intergalactic trash? Guys, you do not get out on the moon surface and throw candy wrappers. What are you doing? Pick up your stuff. Okay, so there you go. All right, now, have you ever wondered what it would be like if we didn't have a moon? Consider that. Consider that we don't have a moon. No moon to see or speak of. What on earth, right? How dark would night be? I mean, that's just crazy to think about. So, if we had no moon, we would miss the following top 5 things. Much weaker tides, significantly darker nights, shorter days, no solar or lunar eclipses, and an unstable axial tilt leading to chaotic climate change. Okay, so some of that we already have. But imagine if we didn't have the moon and it was so much worse. Oh my gosh. And the instability of it would be just really something. Okay. Okay, so number one, weaker tides. The moon is the primary driver of ocean tides, with its gravitational pull causing the high tides that we see today. Okay, so all you surfers, thank the moon. Okay. Without the moon, tides would be reduced to about 1/3 of their current size, influenced only by the sun. Imagine that, 1/3 the size. Wow. You'd barely have enough to boogie board. Forget surfing. That would be a thing. Okay. This would disrupt coastal ecosystems and negatively impact marine life that relies on tidal changes for reproduction and feeding. Which, you know, there are several species where that's a fact. So, yeah, we wouldn't want to see, you know, dire things happen to their ecosystem because, you know, we didn't have a moon. That would just be terrible. Okay. So that's the info on the tides. Now, speaking of darker nights, the moon's reflected light makes nights much brighter, allowing us to see the night sky and many celestial objects, aka stars, other planets, comets, those kinds of things. We need the light from the moon to do that, so there you go. Without the moon, nights would be significantly darker, and the only bright object in the night sky would be Venus. So Venus is second in light, not producing, but with giving light in the dark so that we can see stuff. So you might win Jeopardy with that. You never know. Okay. Shorter days. The moon's gravity has gradually slowed Earth's rotation over billions of years. So I wonder what it was like when it was first happening and it was the rotation was going kind of quickly. I don't know. Did our ancestors stumble a lot? Like, did we notice it? I mean, I think it'd be interesting to find that out. Without the braking effect, like stepping on the brakes, braking effect, Earth's rotation would speed up and a day would be much shorter, lasting only about 6 to 8 hours. That would be the entire day, which means we would only have to work, what, 2 hours a day? So maybe there's a perk in there somewhere. I don't know. But that's interesting to think about. Imagine if the entire day, morning to night, was 8 hours. I mean, that's not very long when you think about it. Okay. The moon's gravity stabilizes Earth's axial tilt, keeping it at a consistent 23.5 degree angle, which gives us predictable seasons. So there you go. That's how we know what time of year it is, because it keeps us in a consistent rotation so that we know it keeps us nice and stable and nothing goes crazy. So that's kind of good. Okay. Without the moon, the Earth's axis would wobble unpredictably, leading to extreme and chaotic climate variations over time. This could cause periods of intense heat, followed by periods of extreme cold, making it difficult for life to survive. I should say so. Imagine going from volcanic heat to the Ice Age. I mean, you know, the thing about human beings, we aren't capable of that much natural adaptation. You know what I'm saying? Like, there are animals, right, that, you know, they go, okay, well, this is the climate I'm in, so I need, you know, extra heavy fur. Okay, they develop extra heavy fur, they develop an undercoat or whatever it needs, right? Or like reptiles, they're like, yeah, we can take cold. We don't like it, but we could take it, right? For a long time. Okay. Humans? Oh, please. If we don't have our warmest clothes and our hoodies and our blankets and everything and a fireplace, I mean, we are not equipped, right? So it's probably good that we have some stability, because how scary would that be, right? So that's the thing with that. Okay. So that was just, you know, some interesting facts about the moon. Clearly we owe a lot to the moon because, yeah, it allows our life here on this planet to be consistent and steady. And, you know, our gravity rotation is, you know, set so we don't have to go around trying to figure out how we keep from floating up in the air. So that's good. It allows us to have seasons. So, you know, all of our trees know what to do, which is important, you know, especially for deciduous trees. And, you know, we rely on trees and plants and whatnot for a pretty good chunk of our food source. So, yeah, we could really be screwed up if we didn't have the moon's help. So next time you look up at the moon, wave to it and say, "Thank you, moon." Because clearly we owe a lot to it, more than we realized. Okay, so we're going to get more in depth into some moon stuff in later WIP and chats. But for now, let's talk about wolves, the other part of our event. Okay, so let's see. One second, guys, having a drill issue. Okay. All right. Wolves are intelligent and social animals with remarkable abilities, such as traveling long distances, reaching high speeds, and possessing an extremely keen sense of smell. They form strong, lifelong bonds with their mates, live in complex family packs, and use howling to communicate with each other over long distances. Their unique physical traits, like 42 teeth and specialized paws, make them highly adaptable predators. So there you go. Yeah, so that's, you know, that's 42 teeth is a lot, you guys. That's a lot of teeth in there. Okay, so social behavior and communication. They are pack animals. Wolves are highly social and live in family-based packs, which can number up to 30 individuals, but typically consist of a mated pair and their offspring. So that's interesting. So most of the time when you see a wolf pack, it's, you know, the parents, right? The mated pair, and then the rest are their children. So when you see a really large wolf pack, yeah, I mean, hey. And they mate for life. Mated pairs often stay together for life, a partnership that forms the core of the pack structure. And they have complex communication. A wolf's howl can be heard up to 10 miles away and is used to communicate territorial boundaries and to call pack members together. They also communicate through body language, scent marking, and other vocalizations like growling and whining. Physical abilities and adaptations. Okay, so speed and endurance. Wolves can run up to 38 miles per hour when sprinting and cover over 12 miles in a single day. Whew, that makes me tired reading it. Making them excellent long-distance travelers. I guess so. Good Lord. I mean, 38 miles an hour, that's a pretty good clip when you're just running on all fours. I mean, you know, some of us have cars that are doing well to do 40 miles an hour, you know what I mean? So, good on the wolves. They can do that. Keen senses. Their sense of smell is up to 100 times stronger than a human's, allowing them to detect prey from a mile away. They also have sharp eyesight and hearing. Nice. Okay. I guess, you know, they have really adapted to their environment. Kind of puts us to shame, doesn't it? A little bit. Adaptable paws. Wolf paws have webbing between their toes, which helps them walk on snow and cover various terrains. Yeah, I bet that's handy. Otherwise, I mean, you can imagine if you're, you know, walking along and suddenly you hit a pretty deep area of snow, rather than be swallowed up by it. Yeah, the wolves are like, nah, I got this. Kind of like built-in snowshoes. Like, I'm good. Yeah, everybody out of the snowbank. Let's go. Okay. Powerful jaws. They have 42 teeth, which they use for hunting and eating. I assume, and probably for, you know, biting, which would not be fun to be on the other end of that bite. Anybody ever have a wolf pup or a wolf dog hybrid? I knew a lady that had the most beautiful wolf husky hybrid. Oh, he was gorgeous. And very sweet, very tame, always, his whole life. But I know that, you know, sometimes there seems to be a predictability quotient that comes with that. So yeah, let me know in the comments. Have you ever had a wolf pup or a wolf hybrid? Do you now? Something that you had when you were a kid, like, and what was the outcome? Because, you know, this is a happening community, and we want to know all there is to know so we can share that with each other, and then, you know, we all gain IQ points. Woohoo! Okay. Their diet and survival. They are efficient hunters. As apex predators, wolves are skilled hunters of prey like deer and elk, though they will also eat smaller animals and fish when necessary. They have some unusual eating habits. Wolves can go for long periods without food, but when they have a successful hunt, they can consume up to 20 pounds of meat in a single meal. Wow, that's like worse than Thanksgiving every day. Holy cow. Okay, dual layered fur. They have a 2-layered coat, a coarse outer layer for protection and an insulating inner layer that they shed in the spring. So they have an undercoat that keeps them snuggly, and then they go, whoo, too hot, and then they shed that. All right. Now, here are some interesting facts about the world's most majestic land predator, our beautiful wolves. Number 1, true love. Aw, true love. Once a wolf has found a mate, they tend to stay together for better or worse through sickness and health, often until death do them part. But it is typically only a pack's alpha male and female that breed, leaving the rest of the adult pack members to help rear the young and ensure their survival. And does it make you wonder how that continues to be a thing? Like, how do they prevent everybody else from breeding? It's interesting. Wolves will die for each other. In addition to this trend toward monogamy, wolves develop such strong social bonds with their family and other loved ones that they have been known to sacrifice themselves for the survival of the pack family unit. Moreover, they are Romeo and Juliet. Okay, so now we're going to talk about gray wolves specifically. It's all in the howl. Perhaps the gray wolf's most well-known characteristic is its penetrating, hauntingly beautiful howl. This is a primary communication tool, crossed onto a different line, both between individual wolves and their own packs, as well as between packs. When it comes to territory, interpack howling can help wolves identify the size and strength of different packs, often determining whether or not to attack or retreat. So that's interesting. Apparently they can tell by the sound whether or not this is a good idea. Now, you know, it's like they get that sound back and they might go, let's get them, or they might go, ooh, yeah, no, I don't think so. Head back, everybody. Yeah, we're going to feast on fish tonight. We're not fighting with these people. So it's interesting that they can do that just from the sound. Okay. Long, lean, and built for speed. The average length of female wolves is 4.5 to 6 feet from nose to tail. Meanwhile, males can grow up to 6.5 feet in length. This is partly why they can't sprint at speeds of 36 to 38 miles per hour for short distances. However, unless they are on the chase, they tend to cruise at a more leisurely pace of about 5 miles an hour. Still faster than my electric scooter can go. I just want to point that out. I can only go 4.8 on a good day miles per hour. So, yeah. So if a wolf's following me, I might just be in trouble. Yeah. So there's that. Marathon hunters. Although the above noted speed is not super fast for a top predator, because, you know, as we all know, a cheetah can travel up to 75 miles an hour in short bursts. Wolves are ultra-marathon endurance hunters. They have been known to track and stalk their prey for hours, well into the night. And they have the added bonus of a high IQ and excellent senses of hearing and smell, all of which they put to good use in rounding up their next meal. Wolfing it down. Wolves can eat a huge amount, as much as 9 kilograms in one sitting. Hence the saying, wolf it down. The alpha male is first to eat and will devour the most meat out of the pack, followed by other pack members and or scavengers like coyotes and vultures. Although this is partly to blame for their bad reputation, it really is a survival tactic, as they never know when their next meal will be. Wolves often go days between meals. Oh, grandmother, what big hands you have. If you've ever seen a wolf paw print, it's enough to make the hair on the back of your neck stand on end. The average wolf's foot size is comparable to an adult human hand, at 4 inches wide by 5 inches long. That's quite a footprint. You have to give him credit for that. That's a pretty good size, for sure. And then even bigger houses. Try to imagine a property that extends up to 1,000 square miles. In rural areas of Canada and Alaska, a pack's territory may extend 300 to 1,000 square miles. Wolves in more populated regions like Minnesota boast a more modest 25 to 150 square mile territory. Living, hunting, and playing in packs as highly social animals, they often travel more than a dozen miles each day. That's a lot of miles to travel in a day. Where do gray wolves actually live? Well, I'm so glad you asked. Once widespread throughout North America, Central America, Europe, Asia, and even part of Africa, the gray wolf now exists primarily in parts of the northern United States, Canada, and Eurasia. Small populations exist in other areas like Arizona, Southern Europe, and Scandinavia. Egypt and Ethiopia, Scandinavia, Egypt, and Ethiopia. And the Arctic wolf, a subspecies of the gray wolf, lives in the Arctic regions of North America and Greenland. Famously, gray wolves were reintroduced to Yellowstone National Park in 1995, more than a century after they were eradicated from the region. As the Yellowstone wolves began to thrive in the wild, so did controversy. You can watch a short film on it to learn more about the conservation challenges faced by the wolves in Yellowstone and learn how you can have a respectful wolf encounter of your own. So if you want to look those videos up, you are welcome to do that. Okay. But wherever it's found, the gray wolf retains its legendary and mythological status among the animal kingdom. Where can I see gray wolves in the wild? Yellowstone National Park's remote northern range is the best place on earth to see gray wolves, but even here it can be tough to spot them in the wild. Luckily, your chances increase exponentially when you travel with professional wolf guides. So if you ever have a chance to do that, instead of going on safari, go on, big wolf tour. That sounds like fun. Okay. So that is our information on wolves. So I hope you guys found that at least a little bit interesting. It's kind of fun to learn a little bit about them and where they are located and, everything. I think the best thing that, we can do is, admire them from a distance and don't try for an encounter. Try to remember these are wild animals. They're not like domesticated house dogs, And let the wolves do wolf things because that's what they're supposed to do. They've been reintroduced in other areas also before. And, it always amazes me that then whenever they thrive, then the area they're in always goes, oh, we got to do something about this because, you know, they're attacking the other animals and they're this and they're that. Okay, guys, a wolf is going to wolf. So if you aren't, you know, if you don't understand that they're part of the food chain and other animals are part of their food chain, maybe don't reintroduce them and then get mad because the wolf is doing wolf stuff. It just, that seems silly to me. So yeah, there's that. I do think it's good that we have them around to kind of, you know, keep some of the quote unquote wildlife that, you know, we have that would normally be a pest for us, keep them in check. So I think that's a good thing. I would say if you live in an area where you have wolves, you know, or coyotes or bears or alligators, yeah, don't let your kids play on the porch by themselves. I mean, guys, come on. Have we all seen those videos? I look at that going, are you kidding? Where on earth would the parent be when that was going on? Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I don't know what people are thinking. So, yeah. Anyway, they're kind of amazing. The fact they can travel that far is really amazing. Which also kind of tells you, you know, when they were hunted to extinction, that's it really took effort to do that, to wipe out an entire species in one area, which I just find increasingly sad. I know that there are a lot of ranchers and farmers who, you know, get very fed up because, you know, they attack their herds and, you know, that kind of a thing. So I know it can be problematic, but they're also kind of amazing creatures. They're beautiful and, you know, they don't go out looking for trouble. I mean, sometimes they sort of find it, but, you know, I think they're pretty interesting creatures. So now that you guys are full of knowledge about them, you know, share your knowledge, because Dr. Maya Angelou always says, when you learn, teach. So now you can share that with some people and they will see Little Red Riding Hood in a different light, you know? So yeah, so that was what we learned for today. And who knew all the things we had to thank the moon for? Gosh, it does a lot more for us than you even think about. Seasons, the tide, I mean, yeah, that's a lot. So yeah, anyway, let's see, what else is going on? Has everyone started their Christmas shopping? Are you finished with your Christmas shopping? Have you decided you're gonna just not go to Christmas this year? Like, what's the status? I try to do most of my Christmas shopping in October, and so I'm usually finished by November 1st, and so I have plenty of time to wrap everything and, you know, enjoy the season. Well, not so much this year. I mean, I didn't even start till about a week ago, so I'm so behind. Hopefully I will have it finished in time, and I'm going to let Amazon do a lot of the work this year, and especially with the shipping fees being what they are, it's kind of crazy. So yes, I'm gonna let Amazon send a lot of the stuff to my grandkids and my kids. Yeah, so that's going on. But yeah, Christmas is way sooner than I want to think about. And remember, Thanksgiving is on the 27th this month. I think so. So that means there's less than a month between Thanksgiving and Christmas. So don't forget and think you have all this time afterwards. You do not. It's coming here quick. So, what did you guys ask Santa for this year? Did you ask for something special that you really wanted, or Are you a collector of things, and that usually on holidays you end up with a whole lot of extra things for your collections? Or, yeah, what are you asking Santa for? Let me know in the comments. Yeah, my Santa asked me what I was interested in for Christmas. You know, guys, man, you get to a certain point and you realize I really don't need anything. I literally have everything that I need and a pretty good amount of what I want, and I just don't think there's a lot that I really need this year. So yeah, I don't know what to even say. I'll have to think about it a little bit longer and figure out what else. I mean, the thing is, being a crafter, it's easy to get stuff for crafters because we always need stuff. You know, we always love gift cards to our local craft store, you know, tickets to our local expo. Like, I mean, we are not a tough group of people to purchase gifts for. So there's that whole situation. So yeah, I don't know yet. I just been thinking about it. I did finish the prototypes for Christmas cards this year that I've been working on, so I'll be getting those over to my neighbor this afternoon or this evening to let her decide if she wants to order some of those to go into her showroom area. And then I'll have to balance diamond painting with card making, which is something that happens this time of year that I still haven't quite gotten a handle on how to really merge the two, especially space-wise, because anybody that does paper crafting, you guys know how much space that takes up. I mean, the paper trimmer, you know, whatever adhesives you're using, if you're stamping, if you have ink pads, or you have stamps that you want to use. I mean, it's just, there's a lot that goes into it. So, yeah, I don't know. Have not found a great way to integrate them, all of the hobbies at once. And I told you guys before, a few months back in a WIP and chat, that I'm trying to learn how to watercolor. And so I'm really enjoying it. It's a lot of fun. But there's a lot to do, and I'm not great at it. And so, I mean, that's why I rubber stamp, because I don't have to draw anything. The images are already there. All I have to do is put in the ink and stamp it on the paper, and then I can color it any way I want. So yeah, it's a little bit it's a little bit more complex than I expected. I mean, there are actual techniques that, you know, you're supposed to be able to learn and make that a part of whatever it is that you decide to make. But man, if I could draw, it would not be a problem. But since I cannot draw, you know, it's a whole thing entirely. So right now, most of the stuff looks like a kindergartner did it, but you know, it's identifiable, so I'm feeling good about that because, again, can't draw. So if somebody looks at it and they can tell what it is, hey, that's one in the win column as far as I'm concerned. However, recently, God, guys, I was drawing stingrays. Right? And I watched a tutorial. I thought, okay, I can do this. Oh, I cannot do this. I showed it to my husband, and Neil says, I said, what are these? And he looked at it and he goes, bats. And I went, oh God, really? These look like bats? Oh, it was terrible. But then I showed it to someone else and they went, total stingrays. I'm like, oh, thank you. Now I don't feel like I completely missed the mark. So, and that was a good exercise in, you know, it's perspective is really what it is. I guess a lot of artwork is, but I was surprised. I was so shocked that I was that far off that you can't tell that these stingrays are not bats. I mean, there is a vast difference in what they look like, but okay. I just have to keep working, I guess. But it is really fun, and it's so much fun to, you know, create and use colors and use different mediums and make different effects and watch the watercolors do their thing and, you know, all mixed into beautiful patterns and stuff. I mean, it's just really very peaceful. So, any of you guys ever tried that? Let me know in the comments. Have you ever watercolored? Outside of elementary school, have you watercolored? And do you have any tips or tricks? Because, whew, I'm pretty well learning everything the hard way, but I'm learning it. So, you know, that's okay. I have time to learn the hard way this time around. There have been times in my life when I'm like, nope, don't have that much time to devote to this, but I'll make the time now. So, yeah, let me know your thoughts. Have you guys done a bunch of watercolors, and what's your favorite technique, or, you know, what kind of tips can you suggest? Because I'm open to suggestion. Boy, let me tell you. Ooh, it's lots of fun, but it's hard when you're not very good at it. You have to keep looking at these things you created and went, okay, well, it's a perspective thing. So, yeah, let me know your thoughts. What do you think? I find that I do enjoy just the piece of it, you know, your hand-eye coordination, and your brain just kind of, you know, enjoys the process, and you can kind of almost feel yourself getting calmer when you do it, which is such an interesting thing. It's kind of like diamond painting does, you know. It's like you can be totally stressed out, you start diamond painting, and pretty soon you're like, it wasn't so bad after all, you know. Like, my day wasn't as bad as I thought, you know. It's okay. I mean, diamond painting just does that to your brain. It's kind of the same thing. Watercolors are very similar in that respect, you know. They kind of make it look like, oh, I can handle this. What's the problem? This is okay. I can get to where I need to be with this. So, yeah, I'm looking for a coloring book that's got more than 10 pages that are already watercolor images that are on thick watercolor paper, so that I can just enjoy, you know, painting the colors on some things without having to try to draw it first. So I found a couple, but they're very, they're not really expensive, but they're kind of, have very few pages, and I don't quite understand. I'm assuming it must be the price of the paper, because paper can be ridiculously expensive. Because you're supposed to use the minimum of 140-pound paper with 300 GSM. So, yeah, that can get a little spendy if you're getting, you know, really good paper. But I found some not real expensive, and then I found some not expensive at all that happened to have those same characteristics, and I was like, wow. So, yeah, I was excited about that. So, I'm just, you know, going along and still trying to learn and continuing to watch tutorials and, you know, see what there is to know about it. I particularly like a couple of creators better than the rest. I really like Andrea Nelson art. She's probably my favorite creator. Not only does she do beautiful things, but she makes it look easy, and she breaks it down in such a way that I can actually follow it. I'm like, oh, is that what that meant? Oh, okay, I got it now. So, yeah, I'm thankful that she's around. And then Rebel Unicorn Crafts, I like her a lot too. And she does beautiful work, and you can tell that she can draw. It's like, oh, that's a killer. And then Studio of Steph. She's really great for beginners. And she's, you know, she's very gentle in what she says, and she gives a lot of examples. And she does give tips and tricks, you know, things that she wished she had known when she started watercoloring, and, you know, what's really important, what's really not. So, yeah, she's kind of awesome. I like her a lot. Those are the three that I mostly watch. Other than that, you know, it's just trying to get to learn the new medium. That's pretty much it. But yeah, it is really a lot of fun. I really enjoy it. Now, would I give somebody a gift that was something I watercolored? Probably not. I might give somebody a diamond painting, but I probably would not give them watercolor that I did, at least not yet, because, ugh, no, still got some things to learn. But Yeah, it's okay. Life's a learning curve. I got it. No problem. So that's mostly what's been going on around here. We might have potentially found some help with our roof. Cross every finger, digit, leg, knee, eye, everything you have that can cross, please cross it, because rain is starting in the forecast for a couple of days next week. I don't think it's going to be heavy rain, but okay, we're not officially even in winter yet, and it's already started. So I'm a little bit panicked. Kind of hoping that something can happen pretty soon. We had to get 3 estimates, and so we got the 3 estimates. The problem has been they've been out here, they looked at the roof, told us what they thought, and then said that they would get us the written estimate. Well, in order to get any kind of help, we need to have the written estimate in order to do that, to show people, you know, what we're being quoted. So it's been a little frustrating that that's been hard to get the written copy. So we had one guy, because we had 2 roofing companies and then a general contractor that does roofing. And he just flat out said, after he came out and looked at it, he goes, you know, yeah, it's going to be a lot. And we're just not, you know, we're too new a company to, you know, have any risk of somebody living in the home and trying to redo the roof. And I thought, wow, why don't you just say, we're going to just trash everything around there and be really rough with the materials. So yeah, we don't want you to be there to see it or witness it or smell anything, or, you know, so yeah, sorry. I said, wow, okay. And the thing was, he had come recommended by somebody. Oh, they were not happy that that was the response. So, okay. So that was the end of that. So we've been sort of, you know, so then we had to replace that guy's estimate. So honestly, it's, oh gosh, it's been a lot. It's been, too much time, too many people, too many places. I mean, 3 years worth, you can imagine. But I think we're going to maybe have some level of help. The problem is we may not know for a while, so that means we're going to have to hold our breath every time it rains again till we find out. So cross your fingers, hope that we get to find out soon and that it's a positive thing for a change, because we've had plenty of the other. Thank you anyway. So, and I don't know why. I mean, you know, there have been a couple people that have said, because we asked them, hey, do we have to be out of the house? Because it's hard to take 4 reptiles and 3 dogs into hotels. I mean, you know, it's just hard. And they're huge tanks. Like, yeah, it's almost not even practical to try. So, you know, we've been asking, well, hey, you know, is it something, if you do this, do we have to be out? And everyone else, most of them said, no, you can be here, but, you know, maybe during business hours, the day that we pour the liquid part, that, you know, before we do all the shingles and everything, you know, it doesn't smell good. So you might want to be away, you know, during business hours for one day. And we probably are going to be loud, but you don't have to be gone. You can be in the house. We're like, oh, okay, great. So to hear this guy say that, yeah, he just couldn't do it if we had to be in the house, was kind of like, wow. So maybe we dodged a bullet on that one, because that makes me a little nervous. That was a red flag. So, like, okay. So, yeah, I mean, I can put them in their carriers and put them in the car and be gone for the day. That's not a problem. The problem comes in, especially for the dragons, you know, they need their heat lamps and stuff. And so it becomes more challenging to take them when you have to figure out, how am I going to get them under their heat? Because they need UVB to break down their food. So if they don't have their UVB in their heat source, usually they won't eat because they know they can't break it down. So it kind of just shuts off their desire to eat. Now, if you can get outside and there's actual sunlight, you know, 2 hours in natural sunlight is an entire day worth of UVB from a bulb. So if you can do that, that's, you know, pretty good. But if it's cloudy or it's miserable or it's cold out, that's a whole different thing altogether. So, yeah. Oh, Hang on a second, guys. Okay, sorry guys, comings and goings. So, I don't know what we were talking about, but anyway, so, yes, we know now all the things we need to know for the preliminary WIP and chat of Luna and Lycans. And more to come on that front. Let me know too in the comments if there's something specific that you would like to know about said creatures, or, you know, about our friend the moon. Something specific, let me know. And I will try my darndest to fit it into the WIP and chats at some point this month so that, you know, we will have a chance to do that. I plan to be doing a WIP and chat even for Thanksgiving week. I'm going to shoot for Wednesday. If not, it'll probably be Black Friday. But I am going to have one for that week. So we're not going to miss a week because of the holiday, in case anybody's wondering. When you watch it will be entirely up to you. But that's the plan anyway, is to have one for you for that week. And then we'll be getting ready to wrap up the week after that. So I'm telling you, this time marches on thing is really something else. But never to fear. It's going to be fine. We're all going to have fun. We're going to get through it. It's going to be good. So, yeah. But, yeah, if there's something specific about wolves or about moons that you would like to learn about or hear about or see about while we're doing this event, do let me know, and I will do my darndest to squeak it in here someplace so that everybody can benefit from what you were wondering. Because chances are, if you're wondering about something, you're most likely not the only one wondering. So, yeah, and this is your event too, guys. So let me know, and I will put that info in here in some kind of tangible way, I hope. And that's going to mostly be what we're going to do. So, yeah, let me know. Have you started your Christmas shopping? Is it something that you're going to wait till right up to the end and try to sneak it in there at the end? Or where are you in that? Hopefully you're not getting stressed, because Lord knows we got enough stress in the world. I was bound and determined not to be stressed out this particular season, but I'm getting a little stressed out. I'm not going to lie about that. I really am. So hopefully I will find out other ways to deal with that. Partially it's, you know, there's just too much to do, and you know, I don't have kids at home anymore except Jared, and he's gone during the day in his program. So yeah, I just don't have, you know, accessibility of humans, extra hands and extra eyes. So most of it just falls on me, and I'm not getting younger. So hey, you know, it's a thing. But some way or another, I will get through this. We're all going to, one way or another. So yeah, guys, that's just very close to, we're almost to the hour mark already. So I appreciate you letting me talk my ear off, your ear off, me talk your ear off. That's what I'm trying to say. That was fun, and I hope you liked learning a little bit about some wolves and the moon. And yeah, so keep me posted. Let me know what you guys are up to that time of year where everybody goes into get it done mode, and then we forget to talk to one another. But, you know, I want to make sure we get a chance to talk one-on-one here a little bit. So you guys know how to reach me. My email and my Instagram are always in the description box of the video. So yeah, keep me posted. Let me know what's going on with you guys, and enjoy this WIP and chat. And, you know, hopefully if you needed to stop and hit pause so that you could come back and watch it later, you did that. I hope so. You're always welcome to do that. I know that, you know, you have a life and you're busy. So, hey, if you need to watch it in increments, you go right ahead. Not a problem. Okay, guys. So there are now, with Neil and I, there are now 36 of us in the event. So let's everybody have a good time. If something is not going to your liking, you know, let me know that as well. I'm open to constructive criticism. So yeah, if anything comes to mind, you can just say, hey, you know what? I think there's the way this can be done differently, or I'm not really sure that this is, you know, needs to be there. You know, I still hold management ability to, you know, accept or deny, but you know, you're always welcome to let me know what your thoughts are. I try to do this for you guys as well as for myself. So, you know, hey, this is our community and our group, and we all get to have a say. So, all right, everybody, have a great rest of your week. I know I haven't had as many videos lately because, you know, how many unboxings can you guys really have? I mean, come on. And finishes take a minute. So there's that. So, you know, not as much going on really, but I do try to get some content out for you guys periodically so that we don't lose too much ground and we don't get a chance to, you know, talk to each other for a minute. So hopefully that's, if you've noticed that there's been less content, that's why. There's just, you know, I'm purchasing less, especially between now and the end of the year, especially between now and Black Friday, I'm purchasing less. So there's just not as much of the typical type of content. But if there's something that you would like to see, if you'd like to see something tried out, or you want to discuss something on the channel, or if there's, you know, some kind of tools or something you want me to kind of review or try them out, let me know and I will do what I can to get that going. So yeah, what kind of content do you want to see? You guys are the viewers, so if you got to sit through it, let me know. All right, my Dragonites, have a great rest of your week and rest of your day. And remember, always be a dragon. Spread your wings. Protect those you love. Have fiery passion. Stay strong, slay your fears, and always fly high, rise up, and soar. All right, everybody, don't forget to post your progress in the Diamond Painting with Friends 2.0 Facebook page with the hashtag Luna and Lycans DP, diamond painting, okay? All right, everybody, I look forward to seeing what you post. Have a wonderful rest of your week, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.